Hello, good evening, everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder Path Trading Partners, with a quick Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, and Ethereum update. So first, Bitcoin Cash, you see it took off, going through all our key levels, finally meeting this 667 level. Let's zoom out to the daily chart. That 667 key level right up here, end of the clear path on the daily, poking up to about 688 and then pulling back. So that is now complete. We can remove some of these other levels. Now we're watching for the pullback. Let's switch back to the 4-hour chart. See what we're watching for. We are watching now for a pullback to first area is about the 620 area. Then the next area is possibly down to 585, somewhere in between there with a reversal pattern. That's what we're initially watching for. We're not just jumping in on anything. We are watching for some kind of turn back up in the rotation zone. It's gone pretty far, so I would not be surprised if we did pull back a little farther, but I will wait for it to pull back, base a little, and then turn back up. Once it turns back up, again, first target's the old area of the highs, which the first target for us generally raising our stops is going to be the end of the clear path, which at this point would be around 679 to 680. Then the next key levels up 721, then 744 to 754. Switching over to good old Bitcoin. Bitcoin stalling out just above our 625 GAN retracement extension, and now pulling back. Levels we're watching for here, it's already exceeded our 12.5% level right in the rotation zone. I wouldn't be surprised if it did drop down to retest the 700 to 69.27 area. That's the end of this. That's this little flat area prior to the next rotation up and near the bottom of the rotation zone, which will keep rising. Again, this has gone pretty far, pretty fast. So again, watching for a pullback and a turn back up. We'll probably be able to draw a trend line at some point or a best fit line, and then wait for it to break that to resume back up. First target area, and that will be about the 73.27. And then we're still going to watch. I'm going to update these targets now anyways, just to give you a better idea. If it does pull up and go to new highs, we're watching then for 76.28 to 78.08, 7800 are the next key levels up there. Let's switch over to the daily. And again, this has gone pretty vertical, so do not be shocked. And if we do pull back and get back down through this 69.27 area, the next key level off the daily we'd be watching for is about 66.66, with the rising 8 coming in there, which would be a 37.5% retracement, very key retracement value from this last major push up. That sort of keeps it in perspective. Let's again check in on the weekly for Bitcoin. And you can see how far away it is pulling from the 8 EMA and how it's pretty much gone vertical. Not saying it's going to happen now, but at some point we are going to return to this rising rotation zone. It could be a combination of just Bitcoin pulling back a bit, then moving sideways and letting some of this price action catch up, or it could be pausing and then returning to a rotation zone like it did a few weeks ago, where it went up for weeks and pulled 2-week pullback, then essentially went sideways, then resumed the trend. So just be prepared for when that happens. Finally, over to Ethereum. Again, we talked about in the last video, picking some up on the 50% retracement down here from these long-legged candlesticks. Now it's come back up. Also pointed out that there was a potential for a very sloppy double top. This is not the highest probability, but at least we can use these potential targets for areas to either take some profit and then wait for a pullback again, or move stops higher. So these levels, again, about 335 lining up with an old GAN level, 12.5% retracement, and the stop reduction level for this sloppy double, pretty much on top of each other, 334.85 to 335. Next target 345, and the final target actually is the defining point for this trend line, coming in right about 355. Interesting how all those levels line up. This will not trigger until we get a close above the peak or a sustained move. Now going into the weekend, It's generally a close because we don't get a lot of price action on Saturdays. Now going into late Sunday, Central Time in U.S. Once Asia really wakes up, that's when you can get some of these sustained moves, and we don't need to wait for the close. But that's not until Sunday afternoon our time. So that peak is 314.40 for the close that we'll be watching for, and that would trigger these next targets higher. Again, not the most reliable targets because this is a slightly sloppy double, and the last two targets extend into the wicks. Let's just take a look at the daily again to keep it in perspective, as that always does. Sorry, that was the daily. So that's how this does look. We'll check it on the weekly then. Checking in on the weekly, see we're still in the rotation zone on the week. So there's been a few people, is what's going on with Ethereum? What's going on with Ethereum? Is it ever going to rotate higher again? Is it going to move back up? Well, it's still held its rotation zone on a closing basis. This pretty much closed at the bottom of the rotation zone last time. This closed in it. This dropped below it but closed in it. And we're still closing in it. Last week closed outside it. This week, if it still sustains here for the week and doesn't pull back again, it's technically closed outside of it. So that just gives you the bigger perspective on Ethereum. So what we have for you now, we'll do some more crypto updates over the weekend for everybody. Thanks for all your feedback and comments, and great crypto trading for everyone. Bye for now.